Hey, part two of the Broken Heart series. We're going to do that today. On Wednesday, we were here and we talked about the full body impact, how our entire body impacts our grief, how our entire body responds to our grief and process the grief. So today I want to go on a little bit more and talk about the message that we're hearing from our body, the message that we're ignoring from our body, especially when it has to do with grief. So I want to take a deeper look into our body because it's reacting and responding to the grief. So let me draw you out so you can see what I'm talking about here. Here's us, the griever, right? This is us. Let me give you some arms and some legs, right? Okay. I want to go deeper because the body isn't just reacting to grief. It is trying to communicate with you. It is trying to tell you where the grief is the heaviest. If the grief is a full body experience that we feel in our entire body, there are different areas in our body that are trying to let us know where we're holding the grief, where we are holding on to the grief. Okay, because our bodies are smart, and the smartest part of the body is this little thing right here, which we call the brain, that thinks it can fix everything. Here is where you guys are feeling most of the pain. Here's the part that we go after to repair. But guess what? A lot of times you feel it right here in the stomach because the stomach is just under the heart. It is just under the heart. It's not uncommon for us to feel it in our joints as well. All right. The headache, the chest tightening, the numbness that you're feeling, right? These are all symptoms and messages that your body is trying to send to you. And today I want to help you learn and listen to your body. These are the notes that I typed out last night. Your body has a voice. Your body has a voice. And it is our job to listen to that voice. It is especially our job to listen to that voice now when we need it most. Our bodies are incredible messengers, but we weren't taught to listen to the body because the life is moving at such a fast pace. And even though grief moves fast, it also moves slow. And then it speeds up. And then it moves slow. And in no time at all, this can feel like, this right here can be one day. It also can be 3 years. It's just the way it moves in grief. And because sometimes it's moving so fast, we're not really listening to what we need to. We are taught to ignore. So the heck was that? We are taught to ignore and push through. Okay? How many of you've learned that you can't identify with the emotions that's going on? You just got to push through. Come on, Buttercup, you can do this. You can do it. Just give it time. You'll get through. A lot of us are taught this. We're taught this in many different ways. Hear me out. We see our parents do it. We're taught to stop that crying. You stop that crying right now, or I'm going to give you something to cry about. We're taught not to talk about painful things, not to talk about embarrassing things. And here's the thing that is most hitting me is that times have changed. We're talking about a lot of things now. We talk about teen pregnancy. We talk about suicide. We talk about murder. We talk about AIDS. We talk about sex changes. There's a lot of things out in the open that we're talking about. Guess what is the one thing we're not talking about still? Grief. We're not talking about the grief. It hasn't evolved to come up that high. Okay. What is our tight jaw telling us? When we get a tightness right here, what do you think your tight jaw might be telling you? Feeling it right here, feeling your grief right here. I'm just going to point into it in areas. Your tight jaw might be telling you about anger. It might be telling you about unresolved anger. It might be telling you that you have a voice that you've never used, that you have a voice that you've never used with your person. It might be telling you that you're really upset with your person, that you're really upset with them? What if you are tired? I'm going to put it up here because tired is felt all over, right? What if you're just feeling really tired? Could this be the cost of holding it together? Could you be so tired because you've been trying to hold it together and now it's coming out in the sign of exhaustion? What about this pit right here? What about this pit in your stomach? Could it be some regret in your grief? Could it be every time you think about the fact that you didn't answer his question, you are having some regret right here in your stomach? We live in a culture that tells us to ignore, to push through, and then us, tell them all the time that we are fine. Oh, I'm fine. I'm okay. Don't worry about me. And we tell them we're fine, even though we're drowning, even though we're drowning in grief. But here's the thing about grief, my dear. This entire scenario needs to be felt, it needs to be heard, and it needs to be expressed. It needs to be expressed. You cannot just ignore this and walk away from it and act like it's not there. You can't do it. There's no way. And you shouldn't do it. Let's slow down for a minute and ask our bodies right now what they are carrying right now. Okay. I want to walk you through a 3-minute practice where we can take a look at our very own bodies and try to figure out what it's telling us. All right? So I want you to close your eyes, or I want you to just soften your gaze. I want you to take 3 slow breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And now I simply want you to ask your body. I want you to do a scan. Where are you feeling the energy right now? For me right now, I feel it a lot in my heart. I feel a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of pressure right now in my heart. I've got a lot of things to get done right now, to get done today, and I have a short period of time to get them done. My heart is beating fast. I want you to ask your body, ask yourself right now, where do I feel tension? Where do I feel heaviness? Where do I feel emptiness? What emotion am I living in right now? I want to encourage you to place your hand over that area and simply say this: I'm listening. See what your body is telling you. What is that area of your body? What is it telling you? Simply say, I'm listening. That's it. Just I'm listening. It's not about you fixing it. It's just about noticing. This is a short practice that builds trust between you and your body. And friends, I know this can sound woo-woo, but when we're grieving, we've got to go to that area in the body that is being most affected. You've got to find that area in the body. For most of us, it's going to be our heart. It can be your head. It can be your back. It can be your throat. Place your hands on it, your warm hands on that area, and just let it know you're listening. If you're strong enough, you can ask the next question of, what are you telling me? But just quietly listening. Okay. The grief wants attention. And if you're not going to give it attention by allowing it to cry out of the front or just sitting in the pain that's showing up in your heart, it is going to move on to other areas. So it's going to move on to your shoulders. It's going to move on to your jaws. It's going to move on to your head in the form of a headache. It's going to move on to your stomach in the form of irritable bowel. Your blood pressure, your blood pressure can go up, right? You can start being sick to your stomach. You can have joint pain, right? These are all the areas that can be affected by the grief, because if you don't allow it out or try to work it out, it's going to find its way out. Now that you're listening to your body, I gently want you to respond. If you're tense, if you're really tense right here, do some stretching. I yawned because I read the next sentence. If you're exhausted or tired, go take a nap. Schedule in a nap. Take a break from being this person, I'm fine, performing all the time. Take a break from the grief. It is absolutely okay for you to step away from the grief. If you're feeling nothing, grab a piece of paper and write it out. Do a brain dump. Just grab a piece of paper and write out everything that you can think of about the grief right now. His name, your name, the days you guys met, what's so hard, what are the emotions? Just write it out on a piece of paper. If you're feeling nothing, you can shake and start all over again. Shake it out and start all over again. Right now, I'm having a little bit of a panic. I'm behind in my schedule. I had to make this video, and that's really where I'm at. My heart is beating fast. I got a million things going on in my brain right now. But really, the forefront of it is fine. The beating fast is just behind the heart. I can just feel it. Friends, all of this is called grief care. You going after it is your grief care. Grief care is up to you. Grief care is not up to me. It is up to you to do the grief care. It's your job. I can give you tips and tell you things that you can do. Taking a break is absolutely okay. Doing nothing is absolutely okay. But the grief care is 100% up to you, because I'm not with you. I'm not with you 24/7. Grief care is not about fixing yourself. It's about showing up for you. Showing up for you day by day, day in and day out. Sensation by sensation, pain by pain. Grief care is asking, can I be safe here? Can I do this here? And every time you respond with kindness, the answer is yes. Every time you look at what's going on for you, the answer is going to be yes. We have to do the grief care. Crying is grief care. Taking a nap is grief care. Talking is grief care. Coming to grief study hall is grief care. Watching this video is grief care. There are many different ways that we can take care of our grief. Many different ways. Okay. You've probably never been told this before, but you're allowed to grieve your whole entire body. You're allowed to grieve in your whole entire body. For years, I only said that grief was an emotional experience that takes place in your heart. And that is true. Grief is emotional. We feel it in our heart. But the grief care is our entire body. Our entire body grieves. When you come to grief healing, this is where we're working. We're specifically working here. When you're in processing the pain of grief, when I teach you about how to grieve, I'm teaching you here. So it is the whole body that's going on, that's doing this thing, right? You're allowed to feel. You're allowed to listen. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to have these emotions. You're allowed to talk about these emotions. Okay. And on Wednesday, I'm going to do part 3, where we're going to talk about how to tend to this broken heart. What actual tools you'll need to support your broken heart as you heal. But for today, I just want to tell you this. I want to ask you this. I'm sorry. Write in the comments today. What did your body say when you checked in? Where are you struggling the most today in your body? And what do you need today? What did your body say when you did the check-in? Where are you struggling the most in your body? And what do you need today? And trust me, I'll be reading all of them. If you guys haven't done so yet, please sign up for Grief Study Hall. You can click the link and join there. Tomorrow, last Thursday was amazing. We did thoughts. I'm not sure what I'm doing tomorrow because I haven't created the lesson yet, but it's going to be something on grief thoughts. For sure, it's going to be part 2 on grief thoughts. Here's the thing I want to leave you with, my friends. I want to leave you with this. I see you. I am you. I know this is hard. But here's the other thing I know. I know that together, we're going to get through this, step by step and day by day. Thank you, friends. I'll see you tomorrow.